right, hello. I am Leah Wilson-Felis, and this is a beginner yoga class for Yoga Studio Satya. I am Zooming this class and recording this class, and I have students here in the studio. So I may be looking at many different directions while I'm guiding here today. But just do your best, follow along, do what you can in your body, and feel free to release postures or hold postures longer than I do. And just do what feels good for your body. That's what yoga is really all about, is tuning into what serves us and what doesn't, and releasing what doesn't. So I've got a nice mudra to share with you today. It's known as the Brahma Mudra, and it's really, really simple. It's for awakening energy and vitality. And so I have a reason for why I've chosen that, but I'll show you how to do it first, and then I'll explain why I chose it. So what you do is you make the hands into fists with the thumbs inside. And then you turn the palms upward and place the backs of the fists together, pressing them gently against each other. You might rest this gesture against your solar plexus right in the center, or you can just rest it right in front of you. So in order to get those knuckles completely pressed together, you do have to kind of hold it upright, but it's up to you if you want your hands to be more relaxed here. And you want to relax your shoulders down as best as you can, trying to kind of lift up through the top of your head. And as we lift up through the top of our head, we also straighten our spine down into the floor so that the tailbone kind of points down and the crown points up. And in the center of our spine is this solar plexus, right in the center of our core. And so it's below our heart and above our belly button. And this is this radiant inner sun area inside of us. So you can imagine that it's like the color yellow with orange coming off the edges. And every time we breathe, you can imagine oxygen fanning this inner flame, this little sun inside of you, and allowing it to glow a little brighter. So as you breathe in, fan that inner flame, glow a little brighter. And as you exhale, it might just soften to an ember. So the reason why I chose this mudra today is that it brings vitality, it brings energy into what it is that we may desire. My mantra for this week is, don't wish for it, work for it. This time of year, we're asked to think about all these things, these goals, these resolutions, these things that we'd like to do to change ourselves. And so as we come up with these goals and these things that we might not be so happy with ourselves about, then we can start to put this energy, put this vitality towards that thing or those things. And so as you breathe, fan that inner flame, collect that inner energy. As you exhale, soften, relax, give yourself a chance to rest. And we just gather, we continuously gather the energy to work towards the things that we'd like to change. So don't wish for it. Let's work for it. And so as I was choosing my mudra, I saw this one that said vitality and energy. And I opened the book to it and it said, gesture of energy for weight management, which is so funny because everyone always wishes to lose weight and things like that around the new year. We want to better our body. And so here it is. This is the mudra for apparently weight management. But I'm going to focus on the inner sun. So let's take 3 more breaths here together. And as you inhale, imagine that inner sun glowing brighter. And as you exhale, imagine it just softening to that glow, that ember. One more here together, the longest, deepest breath you've taken all day. Nice work. Release your hands if you haven't already. Spread those fingers wide. My hands actually got a little warmer being held in that little fist position. And so let's just let our hands rest on our knees here. We're going to just kind of rock from side to side a couple times. If you need to switch your legs, please feel free. Change them up however you need to. We're just going to explore here. Start stretching together. And then maybe even change it to those forward and backward movements like cats and cows. Cow is the forward position. Cat is the backward position. A couple of those. Matching with your breath. Always fanning that inner flame to collect that energy. And maybe we start adding those side to side and forward and back movements together. So choosing a side and then rocking back, finding the 4 directions. And then maybe smoothing it out to a big circle as you move around and just kind of draw a circle around your seat with your core. Rolling to all edges of the pelvis. And make sure to switch directions. So at some point, you choose when. Just switch it up, maybe change your legs if you need to. It can be dramatic or it can be very controlled. It's really up to you. What feels good? Is there an area where you kind of get stuck and it doesn't feel very good, and maybe that area needs a little extra stretch and attention today? We'll slowly start to bring ourselves back to center here. And sit however you'd like. So if sitting cross-legged like this isn't feeling good, then feel free to sit up on bolsters or pillows or anything like that, or even a chair if you have one close by. We're going to start with our hands and kind of work our way up to the shoulders and neck and down our body. So let's start with bringing our fingertips together and spreading the fingers out as wide as you can, and then lifting your elbows up and trying to press the palms in towards each other. It's kind of difficult. Nice job. And then we'll relax the hands and the elbows so that our hands can come together. Lifting the elbows as well as you can, trying to still remain relaxed through the shoulders. And then our fingers become like a saw. And we're going to kind of saw those fingers forward and backward. Yeah. Nice. Some rotation. We're getting rotation in the wrist, but also in the radio-ulnar joint, which is right here where these 2 bones in the forearm come together. Nice. Turn your fingers towards you, and then try to press your wrists out so that the fingers separate. These are just stretches I do on a day-to-day basis between clients as I'm working through massages and things like that. We'll bring our hands back, relax them down, maybe shake them out a little bit. Nice job. Now turn your fingers down this time, and kind of dainty, and then you'll pull back on the knuckles. So I'm doing my right arm first, but you might do your left arm. It's up to you. You're going to do both. And then we're going to turn the wrist in and out this way too. And soar. You might have to kind of find a different angle if you're not yet feeling a stretch. So for me, pointing my wrist down helps with that. I'm going to release it out, shake it out, and then do the other one. Dainty fingers, pulling back on those knuckles so that the fingers are facing down, and we're stretching through the extensors on the top. And then you, again, might have to just search for that stretch. Nice job. Awesome, and when you've had enough, just shake it out. We're going to move into the thumb next, which we don't always spend a lot of time thinking about. Let's do both hands at the same time. So just like we began with thumb inside the fist, we were like this, but this time we're going to bring them out. And just the pinky edges of our hands are going to drop down. So you might feel that. I feel it right here in the top part of my thumb joint. Yeah, and it's different because if I bend my elbows, well, I still kind of feel it. Not as much though. We'll release that, spread those fingers wide, and drop them down to the side of you. Let's extend our legs out here for a moment. Give our knees a break if you haven't already changed them. So right arm, let's pick it up. Give ourselves a little hug across, and then we'll help with our left hand. So the left hand is going to help that right arm across. I kind of feel a little stretch on the outside of that right shoulder. If you'd like to feel more, we'll just lean gently over towards the left. You can lean your head towards the left too to start to ignite stretch in the right side of the neck. Let's take a conscious breath here. Nice work. We'll do that on the other side too. So open those wings wide, spread them out, do the opposite. And then we'll bring our left arm across, and the right hand can help at the elbow. You can give yourself a half hug there. And again, if you need more stretch on the outside of that left shoulder, then you can gently kind of lean towards the right, leaning your head over towards the right as well. Again, to just start to bring some awareness, some stretch into the left side. And then we take a conscious breath. Bring it back up when you're ready. Spread those wings out. Nice work. Now the right arm, we'll try our best to reach it up. I know some people have some, catchy spots in the right shoulder, so just go as far as you can. I reach my hand for the back of my neck or the back of my head. So if that feels good, you can stay there. The easiest variation, the most beginner, is clasping your hands. So your left hand comes right behind your left ear to clasp your fingers. If you're like, that's not really doing anything for me, then you can reach your hand up for your elbow, or you can go for it, Jennifer. That's the full position. And that is Gomukasana Arms, which would be that left hand coming around and swiveling up there and trying to grasp your fingers. Mine won't do it on this side, so I'm just going to come to this one. Again, if you need more, you can always kind of lean towards the left a little bit, and that will allow you to gauge just a tiny bit extra stretch. Not a lot, just a little, so you can find that right edge. Now whenever you're ready, release it. So if you're like, oh, it feels so good, you can stay longer. But if you're like, my arm, it's falling asleep, then it's time. It's definitely time. Nice job. Roll that right shoulder out a couple times. We're going to do it on the other side. So if you need to change your legs, if you're not happy sitting like this, then sit another way. So beginner variation is clasping behind your right ear. Intermediate is right hand to the left elbow. And advanced is swinging that hand around to interlace the fingers or grasp those hands behind the back. You might be able to see it in the mirror. I can only do it on this side though. So we're all a little imbalanced in ways, no worries. Whenever you're ready, release it. It's up to you how long. So it's all about just the kind of variation of sensation that you're feeling in there. Nice job. When you come down, lubricate that joint. Roll it out a couple times. Nice job. Things are starting to get warmed up here. So let's open our arms up, squeeze those shoulders back, and then we'll start to round forward, giving ourselves a hug. We'll stay there for a full deep breath. So that means breathing in and breathing out. And then opening up the arms, inhaling, opening the chest for like a cow position, and then switching the arms, giving yourself that hug once again, rounding through the back, full breath. And then Opening the chest once again. Sitting however you're comfortable, fingertips down off the edges of your mat. If it's like this, you can sit like this. If legs are better straight out, that's good too. So it's up to you. Right hand to the floor, left hand to the sky. We'll start to bend into that right elbow, just leaning over, starting to feel the stretch through that left side. So only going as far as you want to go until you feel a good stretch. Nice job. Take a deep breath when you get there. And then we'll start to pull back up to center. 3 breaths is the aim. So I'm going to try to take about 3 breaths in each pose. Let's drop our left hand down, reach the right hand up. Over the head, if the shoulder allows, starting to feel that stretch through the right side, the ribs, the underarm, the waist, maybe the head, the neck, if you're leaning that towards the left as well. Nice job. Inhale, fan that inner flame, ignite, and come back to center. Nice job. All right, so let's do it again. Change your legs if you need to. This time we're going to add the forward and backward sway. So as we go towards the right, we're going to reach that left hand up and over. And then we're going to inhale and open the chest. Ignite that inner flame, exhale round and kind of like cover it up, round over that little flame, and then we'll inhale again when you're ready. So work with your own breath. You don't have to match mine. Exhaling to round over. So again, our breaths might differ in length. We want to spend at least 3 breaths doing each posture. Nice job. We'll bring it back to center, side neutral, and then swing it back up. Take a moment. It feels nice and warm over there. And we'll go over towards the left this time, doing that on the right side. And we're kind of just exploring to see if one side is more comfortable, if there's a catch anywhere in the ribs, in the back. Just moving with your own breath, inhaling to ignite and open up that flame, exhaling to round and reach. Last one. We'll return to the side neutral before we bring ourselves back up to center. Nice work, everyone. Let's start to get down into our low back and legs here, so let's extend them out. Separate those feet a little bit, sit up nice and tall, and then from the shoulders we're going to kind of round over, reaching down towards the ankles, reaching down towards your toes wherever you can reach here, and just sliding down into that forward fold so that the focus is anywhere from your lower back, through your legs, all the way down. Notice where in your body you feel this. Continuously breathing here, igniting the flame, but also oxygenating the blood. Releasing the muscles. Nice work. And effectively working towards those changes we want to make. Let's bring ourselves back up to center. All right, we're going to try some new things today. We'll start out like we know, and then add a little bit here and there. So keep your right leg straight, left knee is going to bend here. Big inhale, up to the sky, reaching up high, lengthening the upper body, trying to keep it straight as you lean your belly towards your right thigh and reach for your right toes. On the side of your right foot or ankle or right leg, on top of your shin. Wherever you want to grab on or reach for is good for you, and that feels good in your leg. So that stretch should not be painful. It might be uncomfortable though. And there's a pretty big difference between discomfort and pain. So just knowing the difference in your nervous system, backing off if you need to, edging in if that's what serves you today. Nice job. Roll yourself back up to center here. Nice work. So for this next move, we've got to keep our right leg straight on the mat. So instead of separating it out, we're going to separate our left foot away from our right thigh and adjust our hips out to a diagonal. If you have a blanket handy or around you, then adjust that blanket so that it is under your booty but also underneath your left shin. So we're straight out towards the left here. My right sit bone is still rooted. I always see a lot of us kind of lift up here through that right hip bone, so we want to try to keep it rooted. We're going to reach down our right leg with our right hand. Reach up and out to the left with your left hand. Back out behind you. Up to the sky, maybe over your head. As you go over further, you're going to feel that right inner thigh stretch. That looks really good. Don't forget to breathe. Nice job. Now we're going to do the opposite movement here, which requires a lot of energy. So bring that hand back up, the right hand, or left hand, I'm sorry, back to center. I have to kind of get myself away from this water feature over here. So now my left hand comes down to the ground. I'm going to internally rotate my right toes and come onto my shin. So I'm going to hoist myself up onto my left shin, onto my left hand. So I've got that blanket kind of underneath my left knee and shin there for a little extra cushion. Nice work. We'll start to drop the hips back down. Nice and careful there. Nice job. You did it. That's called gate pose. Let's do it again. So swing those arms out like they're a big T. Slide down towards the right foot, the right ankle, reach the left hand up. Big inhale, reach it up, maybe reach it over. Exhale. Inhale, bring it all the way back up. Let's see how smooth we can get it. Left hand to the floor, right toes turn in, and a little hoist up over the head. Nice job. Gate pose. Big breath. Exhale, sit back down, rotate back ahead. Let's do the other side. So let's stretch it out first. So we'll kick that left leg out. Readjust your blanket if you need to. We're going to take our right knee into the figure four. So we're going to go straight ahead first and then we'll turn it out. So towards the left foot. Big inhale. Round forward through your low back, through the back of your leg, through your knee. Your hands can reach for your foot, your ankle, the sides of your leg on the floor. If you have a strap, you can always use a strap here. And we'll try to see if we can relax into that posture and just find discomfort rather than deep pain. So if you are experiencing pain or are on the edge, just back up a little bit, give yourself some room. Great job. Last breath. Working towards those goals. We'll start to slide, roll yourself back up. And we're just going to separate our right foot from our left thigh. I have to adjust my hips there. Make sure you've got a little bit of blanket. So if you have to unroll your blanket a little bit there to get more cushion. So first we'll stretch inner thigh and right rib. So we're going to reach our left hand down the left leg. Right hand will sweep out back. Maybe up to the sky. Maybe even over your head, creating that side body arc. Keep on breathing, leaning your head towards the left to get into the neck. Nice, last big breath, holding the pose. Inhale, bring it on back up to center. Set yourself up here for your first gate pose. So that means, or assisted gate pose. So we're going to drop our, right hand down. The left toes turn in. And then we have to kind of scoop and sweep ourselves up, hoist ourselves up onto the right knee there for that assisted gate pose. It's also known as a side plank. So you're halfway there, my friends. We'll bring ourselves back down onto our right hip, back onto our left hip. Swing the arms out like they're a big T. and then reach down towards your left foot. Maybe your right hand comes back up and over. If that's a little bit too much movement going on for that shoulder joint, it's okay to give it a break. We'll do that half gate pose one more time. When you're ready, bring yourself back up. Set yourself back up with the right hand flat, hoisting yourself onto the right knee as your left toes turn in. Nice job. From what I can see here, this half of the room looks amazing. You all look amazing. One more breath and sit it back down. Nice job. Now that's a lot of pressure on our hand there. A lot of pressure on that shoulder too. So let's kick this leg out, give our arms a little bit of a break. All right, let's see how those 3 moves on each side have worked to kind of straighten out and get our legs realigned. So again, separate them. Maybe you want to reach up. Maybe you want to just slide down your legs today, bowing into that forward fold. Hopefully it's feeling a little bit less intense than the last time we did this. Maybe it's an area in your body that just is one of those spots where it's like it just never seems to like them. We all have those areas in our body that seem to get a little stuck. Areas we need to focus on a little more. We'll start to roll ourselves back up here, and all we're going to do is take our feet about 2-3 inches apart. Just a little bit more, maybe to the outer edges of your mat. As my legs go out, this gets way harder for me. My pelvis doesn't like that. But let's try anyway. So we'll start to reach towards the top of our mat or in between the legs. Nice job. Looks good. Looks good. What I'm looking for in my students' alignment is that their toes stay pointed up to the ceiling or slightly go out. I don't like to see people's legs turning in. So, one more, maybe 2 more breaths as we hold this pose. We are going to take one more round and go about 3-4 inches wider here. So if you're like, oh, this is my max, then just change it a little bit. Maybe you need to bring your feet closer in. So as you roll back up and readjust for the last segment here, I'm just going to take my feet a little bit wider. Really don't like that. We'll sit up nice and tall if you can. I can't reach too far forward. There are some people who can just flatten themselves out on the ground here, and that's where I have to think about mudita, which means sympathetic joy. It's like, good job, guys. I hope that one day I can do that too. That looks great, everybody. We're going to start to walk those hands over towards one direction. I'm going to the right, you might go to the left first. So I'm going over to my right ankle, my right shin. I can feel it mostly in my left waist, as my left hand is also reaching over to that right knee. Nice work. See if you can send one more breath into those ribs, those tight areas. And then we'll start to just kind of crisscross those hands, walking around the body towards the opposite side. Going over towards the left shin, the left knee, left ankle here. Looks good. Looks good. Try to remain externally rotated in that right leg as you're going towards the left. Looks good. The next time we go over to the right, we're going to be adding a half rock star pose. So start to walk over to the right, nice and slow, swiveling over through the pelvis. Now, what this looks like is we walk across the right leg and almost into the back of our mat. Now, I know a lot of you have done this with me before, but we're going to start with half rock star. So that means this left leg has to internally rotate. Your butt cheek's going to lift off the ground. And the left hand is going to sweep over and back towards the right. So here in studio, you might be pointing over towards a gong, maybe the back window back there. That looks good. So what you might be feeling is through that left hip, through the right hip maybe. Let's swing it over to the left and see what we feel over there. So I'm externally rotating through the left toes, internally rotating on the right so that my butt lifts up off the ground over there, and my right hand swings over back behind towards the left. So you can see if you were to put a lot of weight on these hands, you could hoist the hips up a little bit. So this is a half rock star. You're like, pa-cha, rock star. Now I'm going to show you what the full thing looks like. And if you want to try for a moment, just a moment, it's a lot of pressure on the hand. So I'm going to go over to the right. I drop my hand nice and sturdy, internally rotate, and I'm going to hoist myself up onto my toes. And it's like, oh, that's fun, but I can only hold it for a moment because my wrist starts to give. And then I'm going to swing over to the left and see how it feels. So I have to really press onto that left hand, wrist, shoulder. It's a lot. And then drop it back down. Look at you rock stars. That's why we call it rock star. Yeah, so that, and I like to start with half because it's like, you know, that's a lot of pressure for the wrists. They don't always like that. Shoulders don't always like that. So half is always good. Let's bend those knees in, or rather out. Feet come in. I'm like, well, no, the knees actually go out. For Badakanasana. You can round into that. You can have a straight back with that. It's up to you, or you can just sit up nice and tall. Wherever it is that you feel a stretch, taking the pressure off the wrist, maybe even rolling them out. Remembering maybe some of those stretches that we began our practice with our wrists. Nice job, everybody. Last big breath right here. Finding that breath, finding that comfort. Sometimes it's more like discomfort, but it's comfort compared to pain. We'll start to roll ourselves back up, fold those knees in together. We're going to start to transition to hands and knees, tabletop position. So take your time, grab some water if you have some handy, make some adjustments with your stuff, your equipment. So if you've got a blanket for your knees or for your hands, grab whatever props you might need. So I'm going to start off to the side, but I'll rotate forward towards the camera as we get going here. So we're going to just start with a cow and a cat. Really simple here. And if having flat palms doesn't feel good on your hands or on your wrists, then feel free to switch to your fists. And some people will continuously switch through those two. Nice work, everybody. Just lubricating the pelvis and the spine here, getting some movement in there. Alright, so now we're going to add 3 active cats on the right side, ending in a low lunge. So what that means is our right leg, we're going to lift it up. Big inhale. As you exhale, we're going to try to round the spine. And then inhale and lift it up again, looking upward. And then exhale and round the spine. Last one like that. Alright, so this last one, we're going to lift our right leg up and then try to get it around into a lunge. So that means you might have to help it, you might have to reach back and physically pull your right leg forward. Get it nice and aligned how you would like it. Get your left knee nice and cushioned however you might need. The toe can be tucked or untucked. It's up to you. We're going to work our way up to the top of that right knee here. And as you work your way up, you might feel the front of your left thigh stretching. That's a good thing. Nice. You can send your weight forward a little bit more into that right foot, and that's going to increase your stretch. Nice. Bring your weight back and lift your hands either to your heart or up over your head. It's up to you. So if you've been doing too much for your shoulders going up, maybe they come straight forward at an angle, or just stay right at your heart. And we'll lunge again. You've just got to find the right angle for you as you're working. Nice. One more deep breath right there. Hands come to the heart. Let's see if we can twist. We're going to twist towards the right. Left elbow can come to the outside of your right knee if you want, or if you're like, that's too far, then maybe your hand extends and your wrist comes down to the outside of your right knee. Nice job. Twisted low lunge. One last breath. So good for our organs to twist and breathe. Nice job. Start to lower yourself down, unwinding, both hands down on the inside of your right foot. Nice job. So if your left knee is just like on fire, it's not feeling good being on that patella, then tuck your left toes and lift your left knee for a moment. It's going to activate your quad, activate your hamstring. It really makes it more difficult, but it's going to take that pressure off. So now we're in a lizard lunge as we're on our hands here. Of course, some will drop down to the elbows, but I'm going to stay right here on my hands today. Nice job, Isabel. Looks good. And next, we're going to be transitioning to child's pose. So take yourself back whenever you're ready to. Press your hips back. Swing that right leg around. Hands and knees. Separate the knees here. Toes might touch. And send your hips back as far as they'll go towards your heels. They don't have to reach though. So even if you've got quite a few inches, a bit of space there, it's okay. Just start to drop your heart down. Forehead might rest on a block, on a mat, on your hands. And again, if that's too much for your shoulders with the arms overhead, always feel free to slide your elbows down towards your legs to take that pressure out of your shoulders. Great job, everybody. Take a couple of those breaths that really ignite that inner flame near the solar plexus. Noticing as you inhale how your belly presses into your thighs, your back expands. And as you exhale, your whole body just kind of softens into your legs, into the floor. Now, if at any time, of course, anything that's uncomfortable, it may require a change, and that's okay. It's okay to not look like me or anyone else, kind of do your positions in your variation. Let's create the balance in our body by doing those movements on the left side. So we're going to roll ourselves back up here, tabletop. 3 active cats on the left, and then a low lunge. Inhaling to lift that left leg up, looking up, exhaling, rounding, and maybe even tapping. Let's do it 2 more times. Nice job. Gotta get balanced here. Nice, last one. And with this last one, we'll add the lunge. Swinging that left leg around, forward, adjusting it where you like it. And then we'll start to pick our hands up onto the top of your left knee. So the first tattva is of yoga. The first rule, if you will, is pose, asana. You find your pose. And then you have to ask yourself, is this how the pose feels the best for me? And make adjustments. And the third is breath. Find the breath. Nice. Now next time we're going to engage the core, so press your weight back, lift your hands either to your heart, out in front, maybe up over your head, and then start to find that position again. Asana. Adjust. And breath. Ignite that flame. We're making those changes. We are working towards it. Hands come down to the heart. I press back for this one. And then I rotate to the left. So facing towards the camera, I rotate to the left, and then we add that little bit of a twist here. So it could be your wrist, or it could be at the elbow, or maybe your torso is just rotating. Find that breath. I know it can be difficult, especially when there's discomfort. And if there's pain, you may just need to release and try it again. I'll start to rotate back, forward, down to the inside of your foot. I have to make an adjustment here and walk my left foot out, and then start to walk onto my hands. Maybe onto your elbows if you're that flexible. I'm just not there yet. And then again, if that's hurting on your right knee, you might need to activate that right knee by tucking those toes and lifting that right knee. Even if it's just for a moment, it takes that pressure off. Nice job. Our next movement is child's pose, so stay as long as you like. When you're ready to transition, walk your hands back. Swing that left leg around. It's not always as beautiful, it's okay. Make adjustments, find the right position, and then find your breath. Always making changes wherever you need. Always adjusting if something becomes uncomfortable, so that we can seek that comfort inside of discomfort. Make changes for our body, our mind. Working to make that difference. Last big breath right here. Feel your back expand and let go. Stay longer if you need more time to rest. We're going to move into our sun salutation. So we're going to just rotate and roll back up. I have to rotate my knees in. Going back forward to our tabletop. I'm going to tuck my toes here. I'm going to lift up into my first downward dog. You don't have to hold it forever. You can start to walk forward whenever you'd like to. Walk your hands back. If you want to walk over your blanket, you can, or need to move it out of your way, do that. We end in like a forward fold here, and we're just going to kind of dangle like a rag doll. So you can separate your feet and bend your knees a little wider there, and maybe even add like a little bit of a sway. Kind of just rocking out there through the legs, through the hips. Try to let your arms go and your neck go. That's the hard part for me. And then slowly just finding that center point, halting there, and rolling up really slow. So engaging through your feet and your legs first. I feel it in my butt, my low back as I start to roll up and engage through the spine. As I come up to standing, and get my hair out of my mouth, and we'll start to reach up to the sky. Big breath in. Gather what you need and pull it right down into your heart, or rather maybe into your solar plexus today, as that's the center that we're kind of working on to gather the energy for what we need to achieve. Nice. So even this is a yoga position. It's called samastiti, and that means same stance. So that means we have the same amount of weight in each foot. We don't have a hip kind of sassing out to the side. We have our hips not too far back and not too far forward, but stacked right over top. And then shoulders back. So I always try to imagine that my shoulders are right in alignment with my hips. And then my head is pulled back so that my ears are in alignment with my shoulders. Nice work. Samastiti. As we work through here, we'll be spending again about 3 breaths in each pose. So inhale right here. Exhale, hands down to the sides. Inhale again, sweep those hands up. I'll ask that you exhale and bring your arms into like little cactus arms. Bend your knees, a little open heart. Then exhale again, reach up with the hands. We're going to swan dive. The hands come out, we bend through our knees, and we forward fold. So here our 3 breath sequence will begin. Breathing in, feel your belly press into your thighs, and then exhale and try to just kind of dangle like a rag doll. Forward fold. Last breath here together. It's okay if you're moving faster or slower. We're going to lift halfway and flatten our back. So shoulders come down, neck is aligned, hips reach out behind here, and then we'll exhale to a forward fold. Let's do that 2 more times with our breath. Inhaling, flat back. Exhaling, bend knees. Last time. Inhaling, flat back. You got this. Exhale, forward fold. Hands to the mat. I get fingertips to the mat. And then I step 1 foot way back, drop to my hands, step the other foot back, and try to get myself to that forward or that downward dog. So now we're in that downward dog. You can pedal it out a couple times. 3 breaths. We're working on breath number 2. Breath number 3. Now this will be the hard one. Rolling forward to plank, like you're going to do a push-up. 3 breaths here. Can you do that? We can do 3 breaths. You can drop to your knees. I give you permission. The arms are getting strong. Wrists are getting strong today. Drop to your knees. Exhale. Untuck your toes and lower yourself down. Nice job. Get your low back ready. I squeeze my butt a little bit as I press my pelvis and belly button into the mat. And then I start to roll up. 3 breaths. Can we hold this for 3? This one's not my favorite, but I'm going to try anyway. And then I'll lower down with my 3rd exhale. Tuck those toes, roll back up, hands and knees first if need be. Downward facing dog. Press the hips up, pedal the heels a couple times. So if we hold it for 3 breaths, we're really challenging those muscles to activate, and remember that this movement is going maybe to become normal for us. Look towards your hands. Take a big step forward, another big step, walking your feet forward, walking your hands back. And then we'll lift halfway and flatten our back and reset our spine, reset the dominoes of our spine. Exhale back to that forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, reset those dominoes. Exhale, forward fold. Last one, lifting halfway. Nice job. Really bend those knees this time. We'll sweep the arms out like a bird. Press through the feet. Keep those knees bent so that you're rolling up through your back, then lengthening, then reaching up if you'd like. Exhaling to the heart. Nice job. Deep breath here. Samastiti. So pulling the head back, shoulders back, hips aligned, feet are grounded. We're going to do a half salutation down to the ground. So we'll get ourselves to downward dog, and then we'll just kind of roll over. Inhale. I'm like, I feel like I'm talking to my dog. Go to downward dog, roll over.
Like that.
Exactly. So Vinyasa style, or slow it down if you'd like. I'm going to do some Vinyasa, just half salutation. Inhale here. Exhale, hands down to the sides. Inhale, sweep that energy around your body. What do you need? Gather it. Shower it over yourself as you fold forward. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, bend through those knees. Step the feet back to downward facing dog, flattening the palms on your way. Nice job. I'm going to roll forward to plank and then drop to my knees and roll back to child's pose. But you can finish up that vinyasa if you'd like to. And that would be plank, chaturanga, up dog, back to down dog. Nice work. Now I know that we put a lot of pressure on our hands, our wrists, our elbows, and our shoulders today. So if your arms are extended up over your head in this child's or puppy pose, swing those arms out or even back down towards your feet so that your shoulders round forward. And that is the opposite of having the arms extended over the head. That full length. This allows the spine to relax, the shoulder blades to relax. And then we'll roll over. No. Take your time. I'm like, I have done that, but it's really loud. I'm like, all right. So set up everything that you need. If you'd like an extra blanket or a bolster, have that close by so that when it comes time for our Shavasana in about 2 minutes, that we can just lay down. So while we rest on the floor here, just start to get cozy on the floor by kind of rocking the knees around, maybe extending your arms out or maybe down to the sides at a 45. Does it feel better to have your palms down or your knuckles on the ground with your palms up? Rock the back of your head onto the yoga mat, feeling that contact with your occiput on the floor or on a pillow or a blanket. Just getting some lubrication in there. There may be a couple extra moves that you would like to do for your legs. Maybe just pulling your knees to your chest is a really, really nice relaxing pose. Give yourself the hug that your whole body deserves. After a very powerful, patient practice today, give yourself a hug. Rest on the ground. And if you're ready to, we'll allow ourselves some time to let go. So if it would feel good to have that bolster under your knees, let me know. I can bring you one here in studio. If you'd like to just lay flat in Shavasana, you can do that. Knees can be apart, knees can be knocked together. But just know that you have permission to do whatever it is that your body needs. So if there are a couple more areas that are calling out to you that need a specific stretch, if there's a stretch that you like to do, that a practice just doesn't feel complete without achieving that pose, then feel free. And as we settle back onto the ground, we'll start to refocus. Refocus on the breath that fans the inner flame of that solar plexus, radiating the inner sun. Refocus on what it is that you need to collect that radiant energy for. The mantra for the week is don't wish for it, work for it. mental awareness back to your physical body here. Just recognize where you're holding yourself, where you're holding tension in your body. If your shoulders are fully relaxed onto the ground, if your jaw holds tension here. Are you allowing your legs to be completely relaxed? Begin to reach through your fingers. Bring awareness to your arms, just reaching the energy down through your elbows, through your wrists, through your fingers. And then let them go. Do the same with the legs. Energy through your hips, through your thighs, through your knees. Point your toes. Flex your toes. Point them again. Flex them, and then let your legs go completely. Just let them be relaxed, let them go. We're going to do the same thing with our back. So squeeze through your butt, arch through your belly button, lift through your chest, pulling your shoulders back into the floor. Arch, 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 and let them go. Let your back go. Let your body go. Let it rest. From here, we're going to choose a side. You choose which side. Today I'm going to roll to the left side because then my sun channel, the right nostril, will be pointed up towards the ceiling. That's going to give me some energy for the day. So if you're like, oh no, it's my Sunday today, I need to relax today, then maybe you roll to your right side. Take a moment on your side and just have that gratitude for this body of yours. So capable, so strong. And if you're ready to, you can find your way up to seated. If you need more time, you can roll back to your back, or you can stay on your side as long as needed. Thank you for trying new things today, for taking that leap, and just knowing that every time that you take the jump, you land somewhere. No matter how scary, how unsure that leap might be, if we just sometimes take that leap, take that jump, some sort of net appears for us. Take another deep breath or two here as we just sit together and gather ourselves, gather our thoughts, gather the energy to work towards the things that we would like to change for ourselves. Don't wish for it, work for it. We'll do it together. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for rolling out the mat with me. Thank you for honoring your body. Thank you for being patient with yourself, with my guidance. I bow to each of you. Thank you.